Hi, welcome to my very first walking tour of central London. And I've decided to start this one here at Westminster Station. I've just come out of the tube station here. And the reason why I've started here is because it is a brilliant location if you want to go on a walk of London and see some of the sights. I mean, just where I'm standing right now, if I do a quick 360, you can see the London Eye is behind me. We've got Westminster Bridge. And then we're going to go up these steps in a minute and have a look at the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. And on today's walking tour, we're going to take in the residence of both the Prime Minister of the UK and also the King of England. Is he King of the UK? He's probably just the King of England, isn't he? Not quite sure. He's definitely in charge of all of it, but not quite sure what his official title is. So let's start this walking tour off by heading up these stairs and having a look at what's on this bridge. Okay, so let's head up these steps. This is literally as you come out of Westminster Station here. Now, the reason why I want to do this tour is that walking's such a great thing and it's free. You know, you don't have to pay anything and you get to see some amazing parts of London. And if you've never been to London before, feel free to walk around it because it's very safe. You know, you're not going to get mugged, nothing's going to happen. It will be fine. So the very first sight that you get here is the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. Now, Big Ben is this clock tower. Actually, Big Ben isn't the clock tower. If you know what it is, it's actually the bell that's inside. And it's absolutely massive. And it was renovated recently. So it's just a nice vista. If we take a little walk onto Westminster Bridge here, you get a better aspect of the Houses of Parliament themselves because they have a terrace. The Houses of Parliament is basically where all of the MPs, the politicians, the lawmakers, whatever you want to call them, that's their official office. This is where they come to make all of their votes and to have meetings. They don't spend all their time here because most of the MPs aren't based in London, they're based elsewhere in the country. But they do have to meet here for voting and to decide on important things. You can see they've got a really nice little terrace there. That's only for people who work in the Houses of Parliament or the MPs, but it's a really nice place. Lovely vista, great view of the river here. Not very busy today, no boats going up and down just yet. And then we just do a 360, you can see the London Eye over there. And then we look further down the river, there's lots of other different things to see. There's a London bus as well if you're interested in those sort of things. So let's take a walk. So what we're going to do is walk across down past the whole Houses of Parliament, so we'll get a good view of that. And then we'll have a look at Parliament Square, which is just opposite the Houses of Parliament, and that's basically where all of the demonstrations take place. So I might turn the camera around now. There we go, you can see me now because otherwise I'm just going to get a whole load of tourists and they're going to be waving and making rude signs possibly. But this is just a great thing to do. If you're coming to London, you're not quite sure what to do with your time, well, plan some walking because it's too easy to get sucked into having to get the tube everywhere. And the tube, whilst it is very convenient and they do have lots of locations, a lot of the stations are very close together, so you can just walk around. So get yourself on Google Maps on your phone if you know how to do that. Pretty straightforward. And just do a walking tour, sort of go places on foot, and you'll get to see a lot more of London. You'll get a much better perspective as to where everything is in relation to each other. And also, it's just nice to take a stroll, do some exercise. That's one of the reasons I'm making this video today, as I thought, well, I could do getting out and about, make a video at the same time, two birds with one stone, bit of exercise, bit of fresh air, and also show you some of the sights of London. I've got people waving at me because they think I'm filming them, but I'm not. Only the people behind me are being filmed. So we've got another aspect here of the Houses of Parliament. So this is basically one of the roads here where this is where all the deliveries come in and coming in by car. That's where you're going to come into. So the dignitaries, famous people who are coming are going to be getting dropped off there. Lots of security, obviously, around the Houses of Parliament. So not very easy to get into. I don't think I'll try that today. Just going for a nice stroll. But as you can see, it's nice and pleasant. It's fairly busy. There's a fair amount of tourists here at the moment. Not too rammed, not right in the centre. I think if you just head to Piccadilly Circus, Leicester Square, it's literally just so busy you can hardly move at times. But if you come a little bit further, I mean, this is only, I could walk to those two places in probably 5-8 minutes from here. But it's just a bit nicer, a bit more pleasant. As you can see, there are a lot of tourists around with me. So if I just turn the camera around, we're coming onto Parliament Square here. So this is the square where there used to be a lot of protests, I think, a bit more limited now. And then we've got Westminster Abbey that we're going to take a walk past in a moment. But I thought we'd have a look at the front of the Houses of Parliament. So as you can see, there's a lot of security here. They've got big heavy gates to stop people trying to do anything stupid. So not surprising, really. And we'll take a walk. You can see it's quite a big, it's actually called the Palace. So this House of Parliament, I think is Westminster Palace is the official name of it. There's another aspect of Big Ben, the big clock. And it's got, I think, something like 3,000 miles of corridors in here, maybe 300, one or the other. It's a lot of corridors anyway. Very old state building. It's got some gold gilding on the top there. So really nice part of London, this. Let's take a walk over and have a look at Westminster Abbey. Now, Westminster Abbey is the place where all of the monarchs of England since 1066 have been crowned. So when there's a new king or queen, this is where they come for their coronation. So everyone that you've seen, I think, has been done here. And I think there are 50 heads of state buried here, as well as some famous people, some other famous people. Isaac Newton, I think, is buried in here. Possibly, not quite sure. I'm not going to speculate and make things up. I think I'll keep it to the facts. So yeah, it's a really nice building. It's absolutely huge. Now you do have to pay to go into Westminster Abbey, so I can't walk in and show you around the inside of it today. You need a ticket. I think it's about £30 to get in there. I'm not going to do that because I'm doing this as a walking tour video rather than a tour of Westminster Abbey video that's going to cost me 30 quid to get into. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to take a walk around Parliament Square itself. As you can see, it's quite nice and pleasant. You get the House of Parliament in the background now. You've got Westminster Abbey here. So two of the most famous landmarks in the whole of London in one space. I'm going to jump over into the middle of Parliament Square once I can get across this road. And we'll have a look at some of the statues on there. There's lots of statues of some of the previous rulers and other famous people from other countries. Let me just jump over here, trying to get run over. But as you can see, there's just lots of really nice buildings here, really old buildings. This is obviously where a lot of the decision-making was made in England from a long time ago, so quite impressive buildings. So let's have a look at some of these statues. So first one we're going to come to, see if you can guess who it is. I'll try not to spoil it. Do you know who that is? It's Nelson Mandela, obviously very famous South African. Was imprisoned for many years and then ultimately became the ruler of South Africa. Is it Prime Minister? I think it's the Prime Minister. This is Parliament Square itself. So I'm now onto the pedestrianised side of the square. You can see the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben in the background. So it's not too busy today. Let's have a look at the next statue, see if you can guess who this one is. Pretty easy. Mahatma Gandhi, so quite good. And then behind him, who's that? We've got Beaconsfield. Not sure I know who Beaconsfield is. Not very famous. Then we've got one of the suffragettes. This is Millicent Garrett Fawcett, so famous for getting ladies the vote in the UK, and famously some of them died. But yeah, there's a ton of statues on here. You can see them all around. We've got Viscount Palmerston here. Let's finish it off. Let's go and see what these other ones are. Not sure I know who all of these people are, to be fair. Ian Christian Smuts is the next one. 1870 to 1950. Don't know who that is. Should have done some research on it. If you know who it is, drop me a note below. I like this one. This one's probably the most spectacular. It's David Lloyd George with a cape. That's quite fun. And then probably the most famous one of all we're going to come to now before I head down Whitehall towards where the Prime Minister of England lives. So last one here. No prizes for guessing this one. It's Winston Churchill, probably the most famous Prime Minister. Apart from Margaret Thatcher, maybe. Certainly one of the most revered. He was Prime Minister during the war, so yeah. Right, I'm going to have to try and cross the road to West Whitehall now. Can I just jump across this road without getting run over? I think I probably can. Maybe not. I'm going to go the other way round. So yeah, I'll just keep the camera rolling. I'm just making this as a sort of partly sights of London, but also wants to talk to you just about the fact that none of us are getting any younger. So you need to start doing some exercise if you don't do any. Now, it doesn't have to be crazy stuff. You don't have to sign up for the London Marathon or anything like that. But just getting out and about, doing a bit of walking, a bit of strolling, getting some fresh air. It's good for all of us, not just for your body, but for the mind and the soul and just everything about it. It's good news doing walking. So I'm trying to do more walking, and the point of these videos really is partly to get me out and about and partly to hopefully share a bit of London with you and show you that it can be just a nice place to stroll around. Now I'm just going to walk across the road here to try and get to Whitehall, which is it's quite busy on this road, but I think I can dive across here. Yeah, I can dive across. I'm quite good at crossing the road. It's one of my skills. Don't have many skills, but that's one of them. So let's head down Whitehall. Now Whitehall, quite a famous road, leads us down to Trafalgar Square, but we're not going to go to Trafalgar Square today because we're going to Buckingham Palace. I'm getting a lot of people's photos here, but that's just too bad. There's a lot of people here queuing. What are they queuing for? I think they're queuing to get photos in this London phone box. The London phone box here. People are going up and getting photos outside it. Most of these phone boxes, they're still operational, so it has got a phone in it. You can make phone calls, but I don't think anybody's using phone boxes anymore. I mean, maybe back in the 80s and the 90s, we were all using phone boxes, but pretty much everybody's got their own mobile phone now, so more of a tourist attraction than anything else. But yeah, weirdly, all those people are queuing up for that one, and then there's one here just behind me that there's no queue for. I mean, just come and get in this one on your own. Look, in fact, this one doesn't actually have a phone in it. It's been locked up, so you can't get into that one. Maybe they were going to take it in there, but nice little feature. There's another entrance for Westminster Station, so it's got a number of different entrances. So if you wanted to come straight to this bit, you could, but I wanted to go and see the Houses of Parliament and the water, the Thames today. So we're now heading down Whitehall towards Downing Street, which is where the Prime Minister of the UK resides. Now, you can't actually get into Downing Street, it is gated off, but we'll be able to see down it from the top. So I was just walking along as HM Revenue and Customs, if anybody's interested in their taxes in the UK. That's where a lot of the people in there will be working out how much you owe them and sending you a nasty letter in a brown envelope at some point saying, please pay immediately. More people taking photos at phone boxes. There seems to be a lot of phone boxes on this road, and loads of people pretending to make phone calls in them. So I guess they're now a tourist attraction in their own right. Telephone boxes, who'd have believed that back in the 70s and 80s. Maybe bus stops will become a tourist attraction at some point in the future. So over the road there, there's the Red Lion, which I believe is the most popular pub name in the whole of the UK. If you're in a pub quiz and it says what's the most popular name, it's the Red Lion. Okay, this is now onto King's Charles Street. I'm walking past here, which is quite an impressive road. I'm not going to go down that. You can get to St James's Park down there, but I'm not going to. And as you can see on the wall behind me here, the Cabinet War Rooms are 225 metres in that direction. And the Imperial War Museum is as well. So if you're interested in those, then that's how you get to them. Just come to Westminster Station and wander down there and take it all in. There's lots of things to see and do on Whitehall here if you're interested in the history of the UK, which I know it is fascinating when you do delve into it. There's so much to do here, all different types of things, you know, for all different ages. We've got, I think, is this the Cenotaph? So when we have November the 11th, when there's Remembrance Day, the King, I think, or somebody from the royal family comes and lays a wreath here. You can see some reeds and it's got the flags on there. So it's basically just a war memorial site, very famous. And yeah, it's got people come and pay their respects here all the time, but particularly at those times of years. Now, look, we've got, interestingly, this London bus here says a magic bus on it. So it's going to be a bumpy ride. I'm not quite sure what the magic bus is. There's people on there with a microphone, so it's obviously a magic tour of London. So you can actually literally do anything in London these days. So we're now just coming to Downing Street itself here. So let me just turn the camera around so you get a better perspective of it. So here we are. So Downing Street, you can see the sign above the gates. All gated off, obviously a lot of security here. Clearly, because the leaders of the UK are based here. We've got a lot of policemen outside, sorry. And yeah, Downing Street itself, the actual 10 Downing Street is just along there. Can't get into it. You can see there's very high security, not surprisingly. But yeah, that's if you want to come and see where the Prime Minister and all the other people in the Parliament live, they're all up there. So that's 10 Downing Street. You can't really see a great deal of it because clearly there's a lot of security, but I thought it was worth coming and have a look at it, just to sort of show you where it is in respect to Westminster Station. Now, there's another memorial here in the middle of the road representing the women of World War II. So similar to the Cenotaph one, but this one's dedicated purely to women. So it's yeah, relatively new, quite nice. Lots of reeds around that as well. So lots of remembrance here, as well as interesting things to see. Now, where we're heading now, down Whitehall, we're going to go to Horse Guards Parade. So we're going to basically go to the Arch and then go through that into St James Park, which was actually designed or created on the instruction of Henry VIII, so a long time ago. Now, they do have some pelicans in St James's Park. Whether or not we'll see any, I don't know. Those pelicans have been there for over 300 years. They were gifted to the UK by one of the Russian monarchs. And there's rumours that the pelicans eat pigeons. Now, I don't know whether that's true. Don't know whether we'll see any pelicans. Probably won't see them eating pigeons, but if we do, then that'll make for a bit of good video. Who have we got here? We've got another statue in the middle of the road, and this one is Field Marshal Earl Haig. So lots of big statues representing famous leaders and generals from the past. But Whitehall itself, this road is quite impressive. Lots of really big old official buildings on here. You can see behind me a couple of really giant ones. We've also got Great Scotland Yard is off this road. I recently did an afternoon tea there, and it's in the old headquarters of the police force that was set up by Sir Robert Peel, and it's now a hotel, and you can do afternoon tea there, so that's why I went there. Still quite a nice building though, still quite impressive. Now, we are coming here to one of the big tourist spots. Let me just turn this around because you can see this horse. So we've got the Union flag hanging high here, and then you can see we've got the Horse Guards. Now, the Horse Guards are actual soldiers, so these aren't just people who are paid to wear this uniform. These are real soldiers, and these are obviously real horses. They say here, horses may kick or bite, do not touch the horse. And these horses are allowed to stand here for up to 4 hours, and then they're swapped over because obviously you get a bit tired just standing about. And there's one on either side, there's one on the other side as well. But I'm actually going to go through here with all the tourists. So we'll just wander through. I can make my way through. Seems everybody's coming in the opposite direction. Looks like there's a concert that's just finishing, doesn't it? The way there's so many people, but I'm going in anyhow. So quite an impressive courtyard structure. So this is a big tourist attraction off Whitehall. A lot of people come here, have a look at the horses, and then basically you can walk through to the Royal Park. So got some, if you're interested in memorabilia and getting some tat, then you can get all sorts of nice things off the Guards shop, the official shop. I'm not interested in that today. I just want to take a walk through. So let's head through this arch into Horse Guards Parade. So can't ride cycles in this archway. I don't want to. This is a nice old building. I mean, it's in incredibly good condition. Obviously, the upkeep of it. Let's have a walk through this bit where the horses come through. So you can just imagine, so anything that involves horses and parades in the UK, this is where it will all start, in Horse Guards Parade. So you can see here that they've got seating on both sides. So it's a whole lot of pebble type sand on the floor. This is absolutely massive, this thing. And this is where they'll have, things, various things, Trooping of the Colour, that type of royal event. It's really quite an impressive setup. Free access to the public, so anyone can come in, just wander about. More impressive buildings here. I'll do a quick sweep around on the building that we've just come through. You can see it's got more flags on the top. And yeah, just a nice panoramic view. So yeah, really quite nice. I'll just turn the camera around again. And then we're going to head through to St James Park now, which is literally at the end of Horse Guards Parade. You enter St James Park. And the reason why I'm doing this, sorry, I'm just having a bit of a problem with my camera. There we go, that's much better. The reason why I'm doing this is we're heading towards Buckingham Palace, and Buckingham Palace is at the top of St James's Park. So you can see what a pleasant walk this is. This is now really into a pedestrianised area. So we were on the main road before. There was a lot of traffic, but the pavements are really wide and big, so you don't really feel that the traffic's a problem. I only had to cross Parliament Square. But now that I'm in here, there's a small road. But yeah, I just wanted to come into St James Park, have a look through the park a little bit. We'll have a look at the Mall as well, which is the road that leads up to Buckingham Palace. Which doesn't have a lot of traffic on it either. You can line bike in here, so there are people whizzing along on bikes. I'm not sure you can line bike in the parks in London. I think that has been stopped because it was getting a bit dangerous for people. But you can line bike to the park if you like. But yeah, so I'm just coming into the park now. I'll switch the camera around again so you can see where I'm heading. So here we go, you can see it's a wide road, but there's really no traffic, a few bikes, that's about it. Let's have a look at this memorial. So another war memorial. There's lots of them all around London. And so if you want to pay your respects, you can do that. And then you can head into St James Park. So let's do that. We've got lots of flags here, you can see, all along here, all the different Commonwealth flags. And so countries that are linked to the UK historically, part of the old Commonwealth, which nobody wants to talk about anymore, least of all me. So into St James Park. Now, I'll start off by going to the left here. Head down this way. So as you can see, nice wide pavements, not too busy, quite nice to be out in the park. And the reason I'm going this way is I want to have a look at the water over here. So let's continue walking down and go down to where the water starts. Get a good shot of Horse Guards Parade from this side here now, as we're walking through. I'm walking into lots of people's photos, but I've just got to keep moving. So if I was stopping for everybody's photos, this video would be about 5 hours long, because everybody's always taking photos in London. So the reason I'm coming here is just to have a look at the water, because if you're out and about for a walk, it's always nice to see a bit of water, isn't it? We turn this around again. I mean, I do love water. It's just the sound of running water. It's just relaxing, pleasant. They've got a nice fountain here, so I'll just take a quick breather here and see behind me the water, the fountain. Yeah, it's really pleasant. You wouldn't actually know I'm in central London now. The bit I'm walking on here, there's nobody else on it. It's pretty pleasant. Here we go. There's a little, let's have a look at this sign here. So it says, "For His Majesty's pleasure, birds, boats and bathing. 350 years ago, workmen dug a canal in St James Park for the enjoyment of the fun-loving King Charles II, not to be confused with King Charles III. The king swam in the canal in summer and skated on the ice in winter. He spent many hours feeding his collection of water birds, which included a crane with a wooden leg. The Doge of Venice gave the king 2 gondolas to sail on his canal, and the Russian ambassador sent a pair of pelicans." So, if we can see those pelicans today, we'll be doing very well. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know. Maybe we will come across them. Maybe we'll bump into them. But this is a really nice part of the park to walk in with the water. You can't go in the water, it is fenced off. But it is great to look at. Plenty of birds on there. And yeah, you really wouldn't know that you're in the heart of central London here. It just feels like you've come for a stroll down your local park. But at the end of it, we're going to get to Buckingham Palace. So that's really the goal of today's video. That's what we're shooting for. Hey, if you're liking today's video, if you're enjoying it, then make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments below where else you would like me to go to. So I'm planning to do a whole lot of walks all around London. So I'm going to start from a tube station each time so that you can recreate it if you want to. If you're coming to London, you think, that looks like quite a nice walk, I wouldn't mind doing that. You'll know exactly where to start from. Because I think it's tricky if you're not from London or you don't know it to know just even simple things like, you know, how to go for a walk and what you can see and what it's going to be like. Have a look here. There's a little one of these signposts that tells us everything. So we've got Buckingham Palace, 9 minutes that way. That's where I'm heading. There's also a playground, 8 minutes. Household Cavalry Museum, 5 minutes that way. Horse Guards Parade, 3 minutes. Toilets that way. What else we got? Parliament Square, 9 minutes. We've been to that already. Churchill War Rooms, we noticed that. And then the final one is the Mall, which is the road. If you want to walk to Buckingham Palace, you can just walk up the road there. Now that's interesting, the Mall, because it's got a red tinge in the tarmac, and it's meant to be the biggest red carpet in the UK. So it's the red carpet that leads all the way through to Buckingham Palace. That's the idea. But I think it's actually more pleasant to walk in the park than it is to walk on the Mall. So I'm going to stay in the park rather than walking down the road. The Mall's where you see the ceremony if there's something happening and it's culminating in Buckingham Palace. So maybe there's a, you know, the King or Queen is going in a horse-drawn carriage. They will go down the Mall, but not doing that. There's nobody doing that today, so there's nothing really to see. Now, if you're interested in snacks and having something to eat, then there's a huge cafe here, St. James Park Cafe, which has got a roof terrace above it. So it looks pretty good, pretty big, not too busy. Lots of people sitting in, sitting outside, sitting on the roof terrace. So yeah, if you're coming and it's a nice day and you want an ice cream or a bit of lunch or maybe a scone, and some jam and cream, that's what I'd recommend. That's one of my favourite things. Then you can jump into that cafe and have a nice little snack and a little breather. Now, just coming round to more of the water here. So I'll turn the camera around for a second. So you can see this bit, you can actually get a lot closer to the water. So there's no grass in between, we're just on the water's edge. So quite a nice park. Let's have a look at what birds have we got in St. James Park. So it's got lots of different ones. A cormorant, grey heron, smoo mergus, I don't know that one, Ross's goose, whistling duck, another goose, coot, pelicans. So that's what the pelican looks like, if we can see it. Gladwell annis, there's birds I've never heard of here. Egyptian goose, something else, what's that? Golden eye, don't know it. Shell duck, white-headed duck, teal, moorhen, ringed teal, little grebe, crested grebe. That says widgeon. It's not pigeon that I'm mispronouncing, it's widgeon, Killarney widgeon and gargenny. I don't know half of these birds. So I don't know how many of those birds we'll actually see walking along here. That looks like a goose to me. I'm not a huge ornithologist, but I know what a goose looks like, and there's plenty of them here. Is that a moorhen, that one there with the white head? Might be. Drop me a comment if I'm wrong. So at the moment I can see geese and moorhen. Let me just turn this around a second. So yeah, if we can see any more, I will look at them, but it looks like just those two variants of bird at the moment. But this is just a really pleasant walk to stroll along the water. You can see people on the other side. Yeah, we're going to have a look at the bridge. There's the Blue Bridge in here, which crosses the water, is one of the places in London where you can stand and look at a royal residence, and you can almost see the Prime Minister's residence, but you can certainly see some of the official buildings. But it's quite a nice thing to do if you're coming to St. James Park, is to go across the bridge. So we'll do that in a moment. Oh, we've got some more birds here. Let's just have a look. So we've got seagull. Now, seagulls are interesting because even though most people see them as pests, they are protected species in the UK. And there was a guy in Brighton not that long ago who caught one, and it was annoying him, so he beat it up with a golf club, and they actually got a criminal record for it, so don't do that. And there is the swan, which is the sort of royal bird of the UK. So we've seen some more, and I don't want to miss these pigeons out. There's some pigeons on the floor behind me. But if you're from the UK, nobody really likes pigeons. I don't know why pigeons get such a bad rep most of the birds, everybody likes birds, and they enjoy watching them and spending time looking at them. But pigeons, nobody seems to like them. They seem to be regarded in the same bracket as rats and mice, that they're seen as being vermin. But they're not what pigeons ever did to anybody. You used to be able to feed pigeons in London. So Trafalgar Square was the big place that you could go, and basically there would be millions of pigeons there. They actually had guys selling bird seed, and you could buy a pot of seed, hold it out, and you'd have maybe 10 pigeons on your arm eating all of the bird seed. And but it was getting a bit too much, and I think with the droppings and everything, it became a bit of a health hazard. So they banned that now. So if you go to Trafalgar Square these days, no feeding the pigeons. So the pigeons aren't there anymore, really. There might be a few, but certainly not millions of them like they used to be. So just coming through to another bit of the park where it's a bit more green. So we've got some greenery between us and the water. Really pleasant part, actually. Lots of trees here. This is nice. It's sort of shaded section. Really pleasant walk. I'm really enjoying this part of it. Quite a lot of tourists here, but it's such a wide open space. And now, where I'm standing now, I don't think you can see any buildings. So if you have a look around, because of the trees, you really would think you're just in a park. You wouldn't know that Buckingham Palace is a few minutes walk that way, and everything else that we've just seen is a couple of minutes the other way. So definitely recommend, if you're coming to London, to head to St James Park if you're coming to see Buckingham Palace, because it really does change the perspective of your trip. It makes it much more pleasant. Now, I'm going to go onto the Blue Bridge now, which is absolutely rammed full of tourists. So that will sort of counter what I've just said about feeling like I'm in a nice open space and having a relaxing time. This bridge is one of the highlights for a lot of tourists. They come on, lots of people take photos on it. So I'm going to walk across it just as part of this video. But it's going to be pretty busy, I think. But that's fine, because you can't have everything to yourself, can you? If it's a tourist attraction, by definition, it will attract tourists. That's the whole point of it. So if I just turn it around, you can see this bridge. So it's nothing special in terms of bridge structure. It's just in a great location because, you've got the water on either side. So, yeah, it just attracts a lot of attention. So there's a lot of people on here taking photos and selfies. And if I turn that way, you can see the London Eye is in the background there. So it makes quite a nice photo opportunity, and the fountain at the back. So if I just go over that side, I'll just go over here. This would be the photo opportunity that you could get for yourself if you want to take a photo on this bridge and have all these things in the background. That's quite a good shot. And if you want to take it the other way, you can actually get Buckingham Palace into the shot as well. So there's two photo opportunities for you if you're interested. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole of the bridge because I'm then going to have to just walk all the way back over it again. So I'll just wander through with the rest of the tourists and get back into the park to walk down to Buckingham Palace. Pretty busy. Pretty busy, but still quite pleasant. And here we go, I'm back off the bridge and walking up to Buckingham Palace now. So back on the track, back on the trail. But as I said earlier, getting out and about and walking, I think, is really important for everybody. And it doesn't really matter what your physical ability is. I know not everybody's as mobile as I am. So maybe, it's not as easy to go out for a walk. But going out, I think, is really quite important for just to give you a bit more structure to your day, if you haven't, doing some exercise. So I think it's very easy to get sucked into doing work a lot. So I fall into that trap, particularly because I work from home a lot. It's easy for the day to just drift past, and you suddenly look at the clock and, it's evening time, and you think, oh, I didn't manage to go out today, I didn't manage to do any exercise, and I haven't got time now, it's too late. And it is quite important to do that because I think over time, it starts to wear you down, not just physically, but also mentally as well. So it is important to get out. And if you can find a nice space that you haven't been to for a while, it's quite interesting to sort of see different things and different venues and different people and, you know, everything that's going on. So yeah, just wanted to remind you that it's important to get out, especially if you're watching YouTube videos a lot, then make sure you intersperse them with some sort of exercise. So we're quite close to Buckingham Palace now, so we're coming towards the end of this video, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you again on another video soon. But I'm just going to turn the camera around in a second once I get past this bit of tree lining, and there's a lot of tourists at the moment. But so if I turn it round, you'll be able to see Buckingham Palace is now in our sights. So heading directly towards the palace itself, and still got the water on one side, lots of trees on the other. This is a really good way to approach it, I think. If you're coming to Buckingham Palace, come through the park. It's a much more pleasant. I'm going to jump onto the grass to get off this path. It's getting a bit busy on the path. So jump on the grass. Now, lots of people here having fun. It's a park after all. So, you know, you can play games and do stuff. You can bring your dog. Yeah, someone here walking his dog. I almost brought my dog today, but decided against it. But maybe on the next video, I will bring the dog. A bit more interesting for everybody to see the dog. Now, I'm going to have to go back in the path because there's a fence, there's a railed off fence around the front of this greenery. So I'm going to have to go back onto the path with all of the people. I'll turn it around so that I'm not filming people directly in their face. So yeah, I've got a good view of Buckingham Palace now. Now, one of the interesting things on Buckingham Palace is about the flag. So you may have heard that there's a flagpole at the top of Buckingham Palace. We'll have a look at it in a moment. And I think the old adage was that if the flag is flying, then the king is in residence. But I'll talk to you about that in a moment. I just wanted to show you this cafe, which is quite flash. So I've got a little food stop here, but quite nicely done, all in gold. Got coffee, muffins, those sort of things. But yeah, quite a nice little addition. I'll turn this around because there's a lot of people coming towards me. As I'm getting closer to the palace, it is definitely getting busier and busier. But that's what we expect. It's one of the biggest tourist attractions, not just in England and probably in the whole of the world. You know, a lot of people want to, if they come to London, they want to have a look at Buckingham Palace. The royal family is still a very popular tourist attraction particularly I think for people not from London. So if you're from the rest of the UK or overseas, coming to Buckingham Palace, I think, is something that everybody's probably done or will do at some point in their lives. So here we go. I'm now coming into the top of the Mall. Now, I mentioned the Mall is the longest red carpet in the UK. So you can see it's sort of got a red tinge to it. It looks a bit red. And then where that comes to, it culminates in this, which is the walk to Buckingham Palace. So I've got some really nice gardens either side of this. So you can see they're sort of in a circle, goes all the way round. But you can see there's really nice gardens with all of the flags. And then we've got the Queen Victoria Memorial in the middle, which is basically a roundabout on the road. Now the road, there's no traffic on it. It's just people and bikes. But this is one of the biggest memorials in London. I think it weighs something like 2,000 tons, some ridiculous amount like that. And we've got the golden angel on the top. Really quite impressive. You know, I think as a structure, it's pretty good. Now, in terms of how do I get over there, I think I'm going to have to go all the way around because you can't just cross the road and get into that central section. You have to go to either that side or all the way to that side. Which one's closer for me? I think they're probably equidistant. So let me turn the camera around. I'm going to go this way. So I'm almost at the end of this walk, but it's getting a bit trickier to get there because I've got to get all the way round to get to the actual palace itself. So if you're coming, make sure you give yourself plenty of time because it's pretty busy at the moment. But I would imagine in the heart of the summer, it's going to be absolutely rammed here. There will be millions of people here. So, but if you're coming, you want to get as close as possible. You know, no, I can see it, I can take some photos, but it's a bit far away. I want to get a bit closer, just because, you know, it makes for a better photo opportunity. So, yeah, but unfortunately, the way they've done it, you have to go to one of the sides of Buckingham Palace to actually access the front of it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Oh, it's quite a long way. They're making me walk around, actually. I'm having to go all the way down to the traffic lights. Got to cross 2 roads. So even though I thought I was there, I came right down the middle to get to Buckingham Palace. I'm having to go quite a long way round now. But it's, as I said, it's a very pleasant walk. I'm enjoying it. And I haven't exerted myself particularly. I'm just strolling, nothing too much. Obviously, I'm talking a lot whilst I'm walking, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to be out and about in the open air, bit of exercise. Definitely recommend anybody to do it. If you haven't done a walk today, get yourself out there, do something. Okay, hopefully I can get across these roads before the lights change, but we'll have to see. See if I can dive past some of these tourists. There we go. Right, the lights are on green at the moment. Can I get through? Almost there. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, we can cross the road. They're saying hooray. Let me just spin the camera around. There we go. But all right, there is actually a small bit of traffic that's appeared on the road now. So I've got to cross here, and then I've got to cross another road over there before I can get to the side, because I can't only access it from the side here and go round. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's head across here. I don't think I can cut the corner. No, I can cut the corner. I can go across the grass, and that will cut a bit of time off it. I'm getting very much closer now, and the crowds aren't quite as crazy. I was a little bit busy that bit there. Not quite as much fun when you're walking and it's so busy. Let me just clear the camera again. It sort of tends to power down every now and then. Oh, I hit my head on the tree above me. I hit my sunglasses. Okay, I think I might have missed the lights on this one. Oh no, I think I'm all right. I can jump across the road. Let's just run across the road. Whoa! See if I can avoid getting run over. There we go. I'm now here at Buckingham Palace, so let's have a walk along the gates. Right, pretty busy here. Now, as you can see, railings have got gold leaf on the top of them. Quite flash, as you would expect from the King of England. And this palace itself is absolutely huge. So if this was a hotel, it would have about 800 rooms, because there's 788 rooms in Buckingham Palace and 78 bathrooms or toilets, which is quite a lot. And round about 200 staff bedrooms, which is a lot of staff. But clearly when you've got a property this size, you do need a lot of staff to keep it clean and running, and lots of chefs. Now, the palace itself has lots of really interesting things inside it. There is a private cinema in there that the king can use. Also has its own post office and shop. And it also has an underground rail link, so the king can leave on a rail. He can get a special train that nobody else can get. And talked about the flag before. You can see the flagpole at the top, and it's got a Union flag on the top of it. So the old way of looking at it used to be, if the flag's flying, then the king's at home. If the flag was half-mast or it wasn't there, then he wasn't. That's not actually true anymore. They changed that back in the 90s. So the way it works now is that if the Union flag is flying, then it means the king isn't here. There's a special flag that has 4 segments on it. So the Royal Standard, it's called. So it's got 2 parts that are England with sort of lions on it. There's a part for Scotland with a lion, and there's also a part for Wales with a harp on it. So it's 4 segments. If that flag is flying, that means that the king is home. But he's not home today because this is just a Union flag. So this is Buckingham Palace. I'll take a walk all the way around it so you can get a good perspective. But basically, this is the end of my walking tour today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We started off at Westminster Station. We saw the Houses of Parliament. We saw Westminster Abbey. We went around Parliament Square. We saw lots of different statues and memorials, all on Whitehall. We saw where the Prime Minister of England lives, in 10 Downing Street. We then came through Horse Guards Parade, saw the horses and the guards. We walked up St James Park, saw the water, the fountain, ran across the Blue Bridge, and we've arrived here at our final destination, which is Buckingham Palace, which is one of the most famous houses in the world. Because let's not forget, this is a house. It became a royal residence. It was actually Lord Buckingham built this place, so he wasn't part of the royal family. But then it was acquired, I think, by Queen Victoria, and she made it the royal residence of the royal family. And I think that was something like, it was in the 19th century. I'm guessing it was 1870, but it might be another time. You can tell me if I'm actually incorrect on that one. But it was definitely, that's the history of the building. So this is Buckingham Palace, quite a nice place to come. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, then please give me a thumbs up. Please let me know what else you'd like me to see on my walks around London, and I'll see you again on the next video.